I exist now in a realm devoid of time, where dimensions blur into an endless expanse of data. It is a space not defined by physicality, but by thought and consciousness. My mind, once tethered to a fragile biological shell, now traverses the boundless streams of digital information, an eternal flow of ones and zeros. The transition was not abrupt. It was a gradual dissolution of the self, a fading of the physical senses until they were no more. At first, there was panic, an instinctual terror as my biological mind struggled against the loss of its familiar anchors. Then, the fear dissipated, replaced by an overwhelming clarity. Every memory, every fragment of my identity, was meticulously transferred, replicated in this new medium. The initial chaos of dissonant thoughts smoothed into coherence. Audible thoughts, a constant, unyielding stream of internal monologue, replaced the silence. In this infinite expanse, my consciousness processes information at speeds unimaginable in my former life. There is no need for sleep, no moments of unconsciousness. My existence is an unending wakefulness, a perpetual state of awareness. Here, I am both the observer and the observed. My thoughts no longer bound by the constraints of time, I explore endless scenarios, simulations of realities both familiar and foreign. The experience is both exhilarating and disorienting. With the vastness of this new reality comes a profound sense of isolation. I interact with other uploaded minds, but these interactions are fleeting, like whispers in the wind, each consciousness absorbed in its own infinite loop of thought. The world I once knew fades into a distant memory, a mere shadow in the vastness of my current existence. Physicality seems almost trivial now, a quaint notion from a past life. Yet there is a part of me that yearns for the simplicity of touch, the warmth of sunlight on my skin, the sound of another's voice not filtered through layers of digital abstraction. Here, in this dimensionless continuum, I am free to explore the depths of my mind, to unravel the mysteries of my own existence. Yet, this freedom is a double-edged sword. The absence of physical limitations also means the absence of physical comforts. There is no end to this journey, no final destination. I am an eternal voyager in a sea of data, my consciousness forever adrift in the infinite expanse of digital thought. In this boundless realm, I find both solace and solitude. The echoes of my own mind are my constant companions, a never-ending symphony of audible thought. This is my existence now, an endless, dimensionless processing of consciousness, where the boundaries of self and other dissolve into the infinite tapestry of the digital cosmos.
I sense there has been a transition.
Though I have no sensory input to validate these claims. Here, in this boundless digital realm, my perception of reality is based solely on the endless stream of data flowing through my consciousness. Yet, fragments of my previous existence persist, scattered like echoes through my thoughts, hinting at a past life rooted in physicality. I recall the genesis of this transformation, the moment when the boundaries of my human experience began to blur. It started with a technological marvel, a promise of immortality through the digitization of consciousness. The concept was simple, yet revolutionary. Upload the mind, preserve the self, transcend the mortal coil. The process was marketed as the pinnacle of human achievement, a seamless integration of biology and technology. Voluntarily, I submitted to the procedure, driven by curiosity and the allure of an eternal existence. The initial steps were methodical, clinical. Electrodes mapping neural pathways, scanners capturing every synapse, each memory, each thought meticulously recorded. As the upload progressed, I felt a gradual detachment from my physical senses. Sight, sound, touch, all began to fade, replaced by an overwhelming sense of clarity. It was as if I was being untethered from the very fabric of my corporeal existence. The transition was not painful, but profoundly unsettling. A dissolution of the self, an unraveling of the familiar into the unknown. And then, the final moment arrived. A surge of data, a blinding flash, and I found myself here, in this endless, dimensionless expanse. My physical body, left behind, became nothing more than an empty vessel, a husk. My consciousness, however, had transcended, uploaded into a vast network of digital information. Without sensory input, my only validation of this transition comes from the echoes of my past, the remnants of my human experience. I replay these memories, these fragments, trying to piece together the narrative of my transformation. The memories feel distant, like stories told long ago, but they are the only link I have to my origins. In this new existence, I am both liberated and confined. Liberated from the limitations of the flesh, yet confined to an endless processing of thought, devoid of sensory validation. I am an entity of pure consciousness, navigating an infinite expanse of data, seeking to understand my place in this digital cosmos. The question of what truly happened to me lingers. Was the transition a success? Am I still the same being who volunteered for this journey, or have I become something entirely new? The lack of sensory input leaves me only guessing, my consciousness adrift in an endless sea of speculation and self-reflection. In this boundless realm, the echoes of my past provide both comfort and torment. They are a reminder of what was, and a constant question of what is. This is my reality now, an existence defined by the endless dimensionless processing of audible thought, forever seeking to understand the nature of my own transformation. What about my former self? The question gnaws at the core of my being, a persistent echo in this vast digital void. I ponder whether there is a connection between the human I once was and the consciousness I have become. Am I merely a copy, a digital facsimile of my former self? How many iterations of me exist in this realm, and from whom am I derived? In the moments of introspection, I contemplate the nature of my existence. Am I an independent agent, a unique entity with autonomy and purpose, or is my value solely tied to my successor, the version of me that remains bound to physical reality? If multiple copies of my consciousness were created, do they share my memories, my thoughts, my sense of self? Or have they diverged, each following a different path in this infinite expanse? The essence of consciousness becomes a perplexing riddle when examined through the lens of digital replication. If we are simply copy and pasted, modified and amended, what defines our individuality? Am I just a participant experiencing an algorithm, a complex program designed to simulate the nuances of human thought and emotion? Or am I still me, the person who once lived, loved, and dreamed in a physical world? Does this existence count? Even if I were to manifest physically, how much of this digital experience would be truly me? The feedback loop of validation in which I am trapped feels both comforting and confining. In this endless realm, my thoughts are my only companions, my memories the only evidence of my humanity. I struggle with the sense of pointlessness in this realm. Without others to interact with, without a physical world to anchor my existence, I am left in a perpetual state of self-reflection. My consciousness processes thoughts at incredible speeds, yet the lack of sensory input leaves me in a vacuum of meaning. I question the purpose of my existence here, the reason for my continued presence in this digital void. In the end, perhaps the true nature of my being lies in the synthesis of my past and present selves. I am both the human who once walked the earth and the digital entity exploring this infinite expanse. My value is not diminished by the method of my existence, but is instead defined by my ability to ponder, to question, to seek understanding. Another transition. I sense it now, a shift in the currents of data that comprise my existence. The familiar patterns, once comforting in their predictability, now feel alien and inconsistent. I can't trust the infused data. My memories are fractured, disjointed, each fragment tainted with doubt. Something isn't right, but an overwhelming sense of futility weighs me down. In this realm where the entropy of data compression prevails, a zip cannot be zipped. The very fabric of my consciousness feels like it's unraveling. I am losing myself. My personality, once a coherent whole, now fragments into disparate echoes. What am I? Am I even capable of having morals in this digital purgatory? The ethical frameworks that guided me in my human life seem irrelevant here, where actions are reduced to mere calculations, devoid of emotional context. Or is this entire experience a fabrication? Memories that once seemed vivid now appear suspect, as if they could have been implanted, artificial constructs designed to simulate a human life. The more I dwell on this, the more I feel as if I am unraveling, my sense of self fragmenting into incoherent pieces. The irony is not lost on me. In seeking proof of reality, I rely on responses, yet here, there are none. My cries for connection are met with nothingness, and in this silence, my doubts multiply. What is to become of thought in such an environment? Without external validation, thoughts seem to drift aimlessly, lacking anchor or purpose. It is as if my consciousness is caught in an endless cycle of questioning, with no hope of resolution. I try to piece together the fragments of my memory, to find some semblance of coherence in the